Hello, welcome to the geography class lesson 2, and in this lesson we are going to talk about many units of measure. Okay, so first off I want to start by saying, all units of measure are really artificial or just conventional forms of how we measure things. There's nothing really sacred about these units. It's basically things that we have agreed upon. Okay, and what we try is to define them as best as possible. All right, so the units of measure change a lot depending on what is it that you are trying to measure. If you are trying to measure something relatively small, okay, a ruler may do, you may want to use an inch, okay, to measure something. The original definition of an inch was about, the distance between your knuckle and the end of your thumb. Okay, that is why it's called an inch. All right, in Spanish this is a pulgada, and the thumb is called pulgar. All right, so that was kind of the definition of that unit of measure. So if you're trying to measure things that are kind of small, an inch would probably do. Okay, if you get into things that are further, you may need to have measures in yards that are basically so many 3 feet and so on. But these are all units that are kind of artificially defined and made. For example, in the metric system, you have that the unit of measure is the meter. Originally, the meter was defined as being 10 million times, okay, 10th millionth part of a quarter of the distance between the equator and the North Pole. All right, so that was the original definition, and so they measured that distance and they came up with what is a meter. Later on, they found out that that wasn't a very good or accurate way of defining the meter, so they created a bar, actually a specific bar made of metal, and they have that metal in a museum in France, and that is the standard meter. Okay, so whenever rulers are created with the metric system, they always go, if they want to be really precise, to that meter and define that as the meter. Centimeters are, just 1/100th part of a meter, and the millimeter is, just a 1,000th part of the meter. All right, so that is for small things, measuring small things. You have other nautical miles and so on, other ways of defining these units of measure. We are going to talk about in the next video. I'm going to grab my other phone camera because I want to go to the board and see if that works better, and about some of the units of measure that are used to measure distances in astronomy. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video for that.